He was like, Koreans are so nice. They're so similar to the Turks, like to the Turkish people. So he said like every time when they met, so he kind of felt like his brother.
Hey guys, I'm here with a very special girl, Illaida.
Hi guys.
And she has a very special grandfather who fought in the Korean War.
Yes, that's true.
So we're going to talk about that. Do you remember the first time he talked about Korea?
I was like really a baby at that time, like 1 or 2 years old at the time, and my grandfather was always like, when we gathered together, he was kind of always talking about like the Korean War.
Did you have any connection with Korea before that?
No, it was the first time like hearing from my grandfather that the country Korea exists. I was like, where is Korea? I don't know where it is, but I was really like a baby, so I was like, okay, he's talking about that, but I didn't have any interest before.
We just arrived at the first monument.
Yay.
And it's for the Turkish war veterans. And I'm here with Illaida.
Hello guys. So it's my first time here and I'm like,
how do you feel?
I have mixed feelings right now. I feel kind of proud, but at the same time I'm also really excited. At the same time I'm sad.
We are here with a man who actually made this monument happen. He's standing right there. He's 93 years old.
하나, 둘, 셋.
Did you realize what he actually did that time? Or was it more like, whatever, grandpa?
Yeah. I was like, because I was a child, I was like, okay, nice, so he was in the war. I mean, yeah, I can understand, but I was kind of not understanding or kind of understand the deep meaning behind what he did, because I was a child, so yeah, I didn't know that.
Do you know why he went to Korea?
Yeah, because he was like a soldier at the time. He was, I guess, in his 20s. And at that time, the Korean War like started. So Turkey was also one of the countries in the UN. So they were called to help out Korea. So my grandfather at that time was a soldier, and he was one of the first like troops sent to Korea. It took him 22 days on a trip to come to Korea.
현기지가는 영원히 잊지 않고
절대 잊지 않을 겁니다. 라고 뜻이에요.
So how long has he spent in Korea?
The whole year he was in Korea, and like first time he was like, it was first time to come abroad, so he was really excited. And my grandfather has also like some diaries, and he just like wrote about this exciting like trip. And I read this one, it's Turkish, and there he says like, oh, it's my first time going up. I was really excited, but at the same time scared. But he really like talked about all these feelings in his diary, so I love that one.
Wow. When did you become more interested in Korea then?
Actually, after he passed away.
Really?
Yeah, because at that time I was like 13, 14 years old, so I was a teenager, and I know about Korea and I understand the meaning behind it really better, but at the time I was like a teenager, so I wasn't really interested. But at that time, after then, I was in the high school, and I had one friend, and she was from Korea, and at the time I started to listen to Korean music and get to Korean culture and to Korean people in there, and then I just like realized, oh, actually, my grandfather was a Korean war veteran, and they're like, oh, really? So I was like, why, is it a big deal actually at that time? I didn't know. And at that time I realized, oh, it's actually a big deal. So because I saw how many people came to me and were like, oh, thank you very much for your grandfather. They appreciate it so much. And I was like, I guess I should get to know it a little bit more. So I'm here. My grandfather visited 2002 Korea again. After like 50 years of the Korean War, he was invited by the government to come again. And then he was here for 1 week. And at that time, I guess he just like gave some pictures of his time in the late 50s. So this pictures of my grandfather is right now in the Korean War Museum in Yongsan.
Is there anything you remember from his stories?
At first, let me tell you about the good things.
Yeah.
So he told me always when we sit down like in a group, and then my father, my mom, and we just ate, my grandfather started to talk about the Korean War, because when people get old, they just started to talk about their like old stories.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now it's getting started again. At the time I was a child, but I listened of course to my grandfather. So he told always like, Korea? I'm like, yeah, grandfather. And he was like, Koreans are so nice. They're so similar to the Turks, like to the Turkish people. So he said like every time when they met, so he kind of felt like his brother, because the culture and also the food is similar. So he felt like he's kind of really welcomed in Korea, and he felt always like the Koreans are so respectful and they're so nice. So he always talked about how nice and how good the Korean people treated him.
Next we visit Hwangsong for the Dutch War Veterans Monument. Here I will be substitute for my friend Gavin, whose grandfather has fought in the Korean War too. I got him here on the phone while placing the flowers.
Please tell your people, with the Korean people, It's not forget. Forever.
He told me that he was kind of like fighting with the Chinese troops, and at the same time my grandfather has a helmet, and at that time the helmet was not on his like head, it was like going a bit like this because he was lying on the ground. So there came like this Chinese troops like attacked the Turkish troops, and he just like realized, oh, my helmet is like a bit off, so I should put it on. So he put it on, and 1 second after that some like bullet came into his like helmet, and it was like actually when he didn't pull it off again, he would get shot in the head. So what happened is like the bullet came actually in the head, and then it went like up to his friend's hand, and he just like friends got on the hand. So his friend got actually like hurt. Yeah, at the same time. There's one more specialty about him. I like he's really like musical. Like what do you call musical? Like a person who likes to make music. So he had like a Turkish instrument. It's called saz. And he played the saz, you know. And what he did, my grandfather has like good hands thing, so he has like good talented for making some new stuff. So in the war, because he was boring, right? At the same time, because every day they do something. So my grandfather built like a saz, a new instrument. At the same time, people around him liked him because he was always so open and so talkative and always like playing the music. So he was like kind of had a nickname. He told me he was the one who made the entertainer because he always played the saz, and his friends like sang and like sing. So he kind of make the bad memories or the bad place into a good one while lighting up with music and having fun. So there's also one story that he told me on the 31 of December when New Year's came, that tiny time the Korean soldiers got a lot of like meat, and like, it's a celebration, right? It's a new year. Yeah. So still it's in the wartime, it's a new year. So my grandfather at the time, he was the one who was like kind of in approach of the music and things. So there's also pictures of him like playing the guitar, like the Turkish guitar, and like having fun with his friends. After 50 years, when my grandfather was around 80, every time we gather up with the family, my grandfather was still playing the guitar, you know? Wow. So it's like, I don't know, it's like his personality or his specialty that to make people around him happy and like lighten up the mood with his music.
어떻게 아이디어 주고
네.
진짜 아키텍트가 하는 거야.
아, 아이디는 여기 이제 원장님도 줬군요. 아이디는 여기 줬고 아키텍트를 진짜 만들었군요. 너무 멋있어요.
내가 저런 기술자는 아니니까.
아, 그쵸?
It's now the second time I've been here, but this time was more emotional because 회장님, he had a really nice speech. Like he said, that the Koreans will never forget. For me, that is extra meaningful because of my friend Gavin and his grandfather, and also because of the conversation I had with Jan, who passed away. So I'm really glad that I came here today.
The last moment I remember with my grandfather was like in Turkey. He was around 85 when he died. So we went like out one time to the ocean side and we just had a walk. And that time I just remember how my grandfather was kind of happy with his life, even the war is behind him, because he went there 2002 and he saw the country he was like fighting for is now developing into a good country. So
If you could do one more thing with your grandfather, what would you like to do with him?
I would like to have a big talk with my grandfather right now, you know, like since at that time I didn't understand the worth of the things what he did. So now from the information in the background, everything that I know right now, I would like to talk to him, you know, and talk to him and ask him even more and more and get to know about his past even more. But I mean, that's like the thing what you told when you're a child and your grandfather's story. So guys, I hope that you guys will appreciate your grandfathers and parents more.
Grandparents.
Yeah, because their stories are actually really, really important for you guys to remember and to keep like giving to other people. Wow.
How do you feel after his speech?
I feel really, really happy and like that my grandfather and people like from all over the world are not forgotten yet and still like kind of memorized here in Korea. It's really, for me, like right now. I want to cry, but I don't want to cry at the same time.
So you designed it?
Yeah.
What's on it? Love,
It's love
UN
to
Korean War
UN
veterans.
Honor to the descendants.
Elida, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your story. Yeah, so guys, follow Elida on Instagram.
Yes.
Let her know how much you appreciate her grandfather.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and see you next time.
Bye.
Ado. So can you explain maybe a little bit who organized this trip today?
I organized
And you're a member of the...
Memory Association of UN Participation in Korean War.
Okay.
Yes.
And your organization like tries to find the descendants all over the world?
Yes, and I found Illaida, who is the descendants of Turkish Korean War veterans.
하두.
네.
하두.
하루.